Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. New Cricket West Indies boss Ricky Skerritt is not only making sweeping changes to the administration, but is also looking to dispel rumours that several senior players are no longer interested in playing regionally. Since the dismissal of Courtney Brown and the installation of Robert Haynes as head of selectors, the Cricket West Indies administration, they've been reaching out to many of the players who have been at odds with the old leadership. Speaking at his maiden press conference last week, Thursday, Skerritt said there's a myth that our elite players don't want to play for the West Indies. Over the last couple of weeks, we've engaged several of them, and prior to the election. What do you think about that?
He didn't call Dave Cameron's name, but again, he's going to make it look as if because of Dave and his autocratic style that the players didn't want to play. My understanding, based on a press conference by Conde Riley, is that the players over many years have refused their selection when the choice of playing for the West Indies when they are called, and therefore it's very surprising that the new president, Mr. Skerritt, would say that. But nevertheless, that's his opinion, that's his experience in terms of him calling players, and I'm hoping that I have no doubt that he's been truthful when he says that the players want to play for the West Indies. Is a new change, and most of them might see this as an opportunity to come back because there's some regime change at the top.
Recently, we heard from the president of the Barbados Cricket Association, Conde Riley, who has criticized the recent action of Cricket West Indies president Ricky Skerritt to change the entire Windies selection panel and, of course, the entire coaching staff of the senior men's team. Riley says the timing by Skerritt on this issue was a little bit off.
To fire that whole selection panel, the coaching staff, to me, the timing is off. The timing is so wrong. And I was very pleased to hear Andy Roberts and Michael Holding and other former cricketers and Fred Lloyd speak about the timing of these wholesale changes. It is not fair to the captain. It is not fair to the team, especially after England visited the Caribbean. And I cannot tell you of anybody finds their mind that we had a chance. When you fire anybody without cause, you expose the organization of Cricket West Indies or West Indies Cricket Board to lawsuits. As someone said just now, it is a no-brainer because all we have to do is to let the thing pan itself out. But you fire everybody, coaching, everybody, and we are exposed now for firing people without cause. Now that now puts another financial burden on Cricket West Indies. We are at this time, based on when our payments will come through from the ICC dividends and so on, or media rights. I run the Barbados Cricket Association along with the board. My background is investment banking. We have a bond issue that is supposed to tide us through until we collect this money. I heard Prime Minister speak. I implored the board not to get these investors nervous because we need this money.
So obviously the president of Cricket West Indies wanted to make an impact in making these changes, but outside of just wanting to make an impact, what would be the thinking behind this? Because he did something that he would have campaigned against in getting rid of West Indian coaches or terminating contracts before it's time. So I'm trying to wrap my mind around the reason as he would have done this, gentlemen.
And I mean, we just have to hope that obviously the president and his administration know where they're looking to go with these kind of tactics. Obviously, there's something that is not out in the open that maybe it needs to be revealed. But we spoke about the importance of building on the good things that, say, the previous administration would have done in terms of moving forward, that you don't want to dispense with everything. You want to use the good things and build on that and then implement your new ideas and so on. I am a little bit surprised at the selectors. I actually thought that, for the most part, I mean, congrats to Robert Haynes and the other persons who have been appointed. But to be honest, I actually thought that the selectors in their reign did a pretty good job, and you could see that there was a method to their madness, if you want to call it that. That for many a time, selectors had been criticized and so on. Now you can actually see why players were getting chosen. It was based, there was a specific order to things in terms of production at the 4-day level, and then transition through. Even the coaches, the reason that Crandon would have gotten the opportunity was because he would have won 5 years in a row with Guyana as their head coach. So obviously he was being rewarded for his achievements at the domestic level.
But he's now gone.
He's now
which
gone.
Which makes no sense to me, Wayne.
It's a bit strange, but as you said, you just have to hope that obviously there's something that we don't know. It's
obvious that the new president
has another vision
to stamp his authority and to announce himself, and therefore he wants these changes to move in a different direction.
I agree. Because many of these changes are short-term changes.
What is right? What is surprising is that Robert Hayes, along with the coaches, are called interim. They're interim positions.
Yes.
Simply means what's going to happen. For example, let's be negative for a change. That the West Indies team does poorly in England in the World Cup, and they were beaten up when India toured the West Indies. Does that mean that you say that the coach did a poor job and the chairman and selectors didn't do well and therefore they need to be replaced?
And even that wouldn't make any sense to me at all, because that would be too short a time to judge.
I just find that the fact that the team just beat England, did so well and reignite confidence and enthusiasm and excitement and happiness within the Caribbean, and then now they are removed just before going to the World Cup. I think the time, and I agree with Conde Riley, that the timing is poor. But I'd like to hear from the president to find out exactly what are his reasons for doing this. And I'm asking the question. I asked a senior member of the West Indies Cricket Board, did the president make these decisions unilaterally? He said no. So therefore we're pointing fingers directly at Mr. Skerritt. However, that these decisions could not be made on his own, and therefore these are decisions supported by the board. So therefore, we maybe need to look at the board in its own some way rather than just keep pointing fingers.
No, he's and his team, as we were saying. He and his team must have had a specific
vision. But the daggers are being thrown directly at him.
Well, that's also how it is. When it was Cameron's time, the daggers were thrown at him. So that just goes with the territory. But I think that obviously Mr. Skerritt and his team and his administration obviously have a different pathway that they want to go down. Their yellow brick road is slightly different. It's a different avenue than what was previously there. I just want them to guard on the side of caution that they don't dispense with everything that was there before just because they're new in the seat.
What is kind of strange still is that Mr. Conde Riley is part of the board. He would have been, I would imagine, in that board meeting when these decisions were being made. He would have been in the room as well, or if they'd done it on using technology or whatever, Skype, whatever, he would have been on the meeting. So
and obviously he would have said no.
Some scathing criticism of the decision in the end. Obviously he was not part of it, he didn't support the decision. But let's see what's going to happen. My focus is on West Indies and its players, and therefore how well they'll do in England. And there are a number of WIPA members within that setup as well, and I have a vested interest in that. So let's hope that the team will do well in England, and then this will be another.
As I said, unfortunate for the guys who have been removed. But you never know, they might be removed temporarily to return. Vasper Drakes, Nissan Kandan, but opportunity.
But if he's correct,
opportunity for new persons to fly free for
6 months.
But if he's right in that firing so many persons at the same time with lawsuits throwing left, right, and centre now, then it could cost West Indies a lot of money going forward. That I don't know that they have.
Which is what Conde Riley spoke of as well.
We take another break. Interactive is next.